Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Welcome to my LEGO Gauntlet comparison. We're going to be taking a look at the new LEGO Nano Gauntlet compared to the LEGO Infinity Gauntlet from last year, as well as the movie-accurate prop replica so we can see just how close LEGO got to the actual item in universe. I'm pretty excited about this because I love the Nano Gauntlet. I think, it's like one of my favorite movie objects just in general, and I really like the Infinity Gauntlet as well. So I'm excited to see how these all stack up next to each other. So in the center, we have the life-size Nano Gauntlet replica from Hot Toys. They're the same company that makes those incredibly detailed 6th scale figures that you see a lot on social media from like Marvel, Star Wars, anything really. I'm just getting into collecting that kind of stuff, and so this was a piece that I had wanted for a really long time. This thing is incredibly expensive, and I'll tell you, not worth the money at all. Buy the Lego one. It's just the big one. It's like $377, and it's made of plastic. It's not even like metal. So kind of wish I hadn't wasted that much money on it, but I still think it looks really good on display. Then on the left, we have the LEGO Infinity Gauntlet. That was $70 when it released in August of 2021, but now it retails for $80. And then on the right, we have the Nano Gauntlet, which still retails for $70, even though the Infinity Gauntlet increased in price. And you can see right off the bat that the Infinity Gauntlet is a little bit bigger than the Nano Gauntlet. The LEGO versions are not to scale at all, because the Infinity Gauntlet in universe is like twice the size of this Nano Gauntlet. This was the original one made by Iron Man, and then later it becomes bigger to fit onto the Hulk's hand, and the Infinity Gauntlet is still like 1.5 times the size of that one. So the LEGO versions are not to scale at all, but they're fairly accurate, for what they are. So yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet and Nano Gauntlet are basically the same size. That's mildly irritating to me, but it's not the end of the world, because I mean, why would LEGO make an Infinity Gauntlet that's like humongous, I liked the size of this thing when it came out last year. I still like the size of it, but I also wish that they were a little bit more proportional to each other. The biggest difference between them is just that the Infinity Gauntlet has a much bigger thumb. That's the biggest proportional difference. It is a little bit longer, but honestly, before I put them right next to each other, I thought that it was even longer on the bottom than the Nano Gauntlet was. And I said in my Nano Gauntlet review that I liked the Nano Gauntlet better as a display piece, and I kind of feel like that's not true anymore. Now that I'm looking at them together, I do like the Infinity Gauntlet better. I'm sorry, it's just, it's so much prettier, with all of the gold and everything. When we're talking about the actual things, from the movies, I like the Nano Gauntlet way more. But when we're talking about the LEGO versions, the Infinity Gauntlet is just so pretty and gold, and it's so nicely detailed, and the Nano Gauntlet looks great. It looks pretty accurate, but there's certain things about it that I really don't like. So let's compare them here, because I don't like the Infinity Stones on the Nano Gauntlet. I don't think they look good. I think that they look very odd to me. They look like they're awkwardly popping out of the face of the thing. It doesn't look like they're set into the glove as much as the Infinity Gauntlet ones do. I also don't like how the Soul Stone is built differently on the Infinity Gauntlet from the Nano Gauntlet. That just kind of annoys me. But one thing the Nano Gauntlet did a lot better was actually setting the Mind Stone in. These stones feel like they're not set in well and they're popping out, but it's the opposite on the Infinity Gauntlet, where the Mind Stone feels like it's popping out. But on the Nano one, it's kind of better kept in place by these wheel arches, and it's not so 3D, So yeah, and I mean, I do like the satchel details on the Nano Gauntlet, but I feel like these are part of why they feel so removed from the rest of the glove, because they're literally outlined by a separate piece in a color that's not used very often throughout the glove. So, I mean, I don't know if LEGO could have done better there, but I just don't love this section of the Nano Gauntlet, because it feels very messy to me, and it feels it doesn't feel like a smooth, even glove like it's supposed to. I like the base of the Nano Gauntlet quite a bit, because I think that this is all just built up really well. I love the silver details. I love these wedge bricks. And then, of course, I really like how nicely kind of just built off it is back here. It's not open or anything. The Infinity Gauntlet is much more delicate down here, and as you can see, it's a lot more open. So I like the bottom of the Nano Gauntlet more for that reason. I also like the sides of the Nano Gauntlet a lot more, because it's just like kind of a cleaner look that I appreciate more. But the Infinity Gauntlet does have a lot more detailing, especially down here. And those flaps are because like the Infinity Gauntlet fits all the way down to like the forearm of Thanos, whereas the Nano Gauntlet is really just a glove. So, I mean, this one, again, it's a lot weaker. Like, I don't want to grab this from down here, but I don't care about grabbing the Nano Gauntlet from down there. So there's things that I like about both. But the reason the Infinity Gauntlet wins overall is because of the fingers. The fingers on this thing are perfect. I freaking love them. I love how these like pillow pieces interact with these angled parts because it just looks so perfect. And there's so much gold. Like the gold just looks so good in person. This is like the most drum lacquered gold that's ever been in a Lego set, and it looks incredible. So I really like how the knuckles work on this thing. It's just, you know, it's a very attractive like display appearance. And the Nano Gauntlet, I mean, the fingers look great, and I really like how they got the gold joints in there because that is super accurate. But they are a lot plainer. They can splay out a little bit. So I kind of appreciate that because it gives you like a more varied display appearance rather than just having them stick like straight up. But I don't think that you can beat how the knuckles work on the Infinity Gauntlet. They tried like by exposing the gold joints, and I think again that works really well, but the Infinity Gauntlet just can't be beat. As for the thumbs, the Infinity Gauntlet wins again, just because it has a lot more movement. You can move it all the way down here at the base, and you can't do that with the Nano Gauntlet. You can only move like the actual like thumb part here. So that kind of sucks, because it would have been nice to have, you know, just like a little bit more articulation. Both of them do have like 2 points of articulation, like one ball joint and one just like regular like smooth clip joint. But the Infinity Gauntlet just wins because it's got so much more motion, so you can do a lot more with it. So I do like that better. The palms, though, the Nano Gauntlet wins again because the palm on this one just looks a lot better than the palm on the Infinity Gauntlet. I've always thought this was the most awkward section of the original Gauntlet. I'm saying Gauntlet a lot, sorry. But yeah, I mean, it just, I don't like this. Like, this looks like terrain to me, you know, like it looks like a desert with like a hill, and this looks more like an actual hand. And then down at the base, the Infinity Gauntlet has, again, more beautiful gold. And the Nano Gauntlet comes to, you know, it also has detail down here, but it's all like red. I really like the stripe of silver. I mean, okay, I do think I like the bottom of this one a little bit better just because, again, it's cleaner, it flows better. And I do like how the Nano Gauntlet comes to like a stubbier point while the Infinity Gauntlet kind of just keeps going. So, I mean, I guess that pretty much does it for the comparison of the LEGO versions. But yeah, I do think the Infinity Gauntlet wins overall, and I do like that it's bigger. I feel like the Nano Gauntlet is just a tiny bit small for $70, and the Infinity Gauntlet is not that much bigger, but like just the little touches on the Infinity Gauntlet make it more worth that $70 price. But it is not worth the new $80 price, I think. All right, and now we have the actual movie replica compared to the LEGO version. I've taken the replica off its stand just because the stand adds unnecessary height that'll make it harder to compare these. But right off the bat, I think that LEGO achieved the shaping on the front towards the bottom. I think they got that really well. You know, it's kind of bulbous, like it's a little bit rounded, and LEGO, you know, they got that with those pieces. It's not quite as rounded as like this replica is, but of course, LEGO's not going to get anything as perfect as, you know, like a life-size movie replica that's not made out of Lego bricks. And I really liked the way that they got the shaping around the Mind Stone. I think that that was pretty much perfect because the shape is there. It's, again, not perfect. Like, you know, there's like a little bit of break in the silver here. These pieces, if there weren't studs showing, it would be even better. But I think that given the limitations that LEGO has, that looks amazing. The things that I don't like are, again, more towards the top. I think that, you know, LEGO, again, they tried to get the shapes in there. They have the angle. Like, they have this angle, like, that's accurate to the actual glove. But the LEGO version just separates it out too much. It's fairly seamless on the actual glove, but the LEGO version kind of falls apart in this corner, I think. And it falls apart in this corner because there's just too many pieces right here. And again, I don't know if LEGO could have done better. I'm not saying that, like, I could have done it better. But, like, this does not look anything like this corner of the glove to me. Like, do you see how smooth and even everything is? Like, I don't get why there's this massive, like, sloped brick piece here. Like, they could have, I feel like LEGO could have done something different in this corner. But everything here just feels too bulky and choppy to me. And I don't really like that. I think using this tile here to kind of get that shape in was perfect, but it's just like below that tile. It's like this section in particular that I don't like when I look at the actual like prop replica. And then the Infinity Stones, like, yeah, they're too thin, first of all, on both of these gauntlets, like on both LEGO versions. But there's not really anything that can be done about that. I mean, sorry, the fingers are like bothering me. There's not really anything that can be done about it. I think going 2x2 would have made them way too thick. So I mean, like, LEGO did what they could, but I just think that the Infinity Stones have always looked a little bit awkward on these, and I wish that they had come up with a slightly better solution for them. And they're way too like tight. You know what I mean? Like, they're so thin, and then like they're like confined to this area so much. And I mean, that's kind of the case on the actual gauntlet too, but like, do you see like the stones here? Like, they're not popping out as much as the stones on the LEGO version. And like, that's kind of what's making the disconnect for me. Like, there's just too much going on here. And I don't know why there's this gap here showing the studs, because there isn't really like a gap here on the actual gauntlet. So yeah, I really think that once you get past like the Mind Stone section, like, or everything like right over here just gets a little bit too choppy for my taste. The fingers are done pretty well on the LEGO version though. Unfortunately, on this replica, even though it costs so much money, the fingers cannot move, which also bothered me quite a bit. But this is what I've been talking about with those like satchel pieces that LEGO used. These satchel pieces are replicating like this area of the knuckle. And I think it's awesome that LEGO did that, because, you know, that's a pretty good piece to use to approximate this shape. But the satchel parts, because like they don't really like curve that much, because they just end right above the Infinity Stones, they do look a little bit weird. I'm not saying LEGO shouldn't have done it, but I don't know, like I kind of would like to see prototypes that didn't use that, because maybe they would have looked a little bit better. But yes, it's perfectly accurate that there's gold up in the fingertips. That is, you know, how the actual glove works, that once you start bending the knuckles, like, it reveals a lot more of the gold. And so I do like what LEGO did with that. And honestly, the pieces that they used for the fingertips over here, like, these are really old pieces. I don't even know like what to call them, but they perfectly approximate like the ridges and, you know, like the look of the Nano Gauntlet. So I'm really happy about that as well. The one thing, again, that I don't love, and this is much more of a nitpick, but like there's a lot of studs showing here, and like the Infinity Gauntlet had a pretty good balance of like studded and smooth areas on its fingers, and I just feel like, especially this finger in particular, the Nano Gauntlet kind of loses that balance a little bit. I've got no complaints on the side though. The band of silver is much thicker on the LEGO version, but obviously it's hard to kind of do that gradient from thick to thin with LEGO bricks. But I think that all of these lines look pretty perfect. I didn't even notice that. The LEGO version's missing one, because you can see there's 3 silver lines and then like 1 angled one. So LEGO is missing like the 3rd silver line, but again, on something of this size, there's not room for a 4th line, you know? Then it would start looking really strange. And the silver lines are one of my favorite parts of the LEGO version. So I think that they did a good job there. And then as for the palm, I guess that is the last part for us to look at. The bottom of the LEGO version, again, like, this is a lot more silver than is present on the actual thing, but it's hard to like, it would be really hard to adjust the gradient of silver. So, and I really like the silver, so I don't have an issue with that. There's a lot more texture on the LEGO version than the bottom of the actual replica, which again does not bother me, because I think that looks really good. And the palms, I think, are very, very accurate. Like, obviously LEGO cannot get like this kind of trapezoid figure like into their palm, because if the set was bigger, I'm sure they could have, but they can't get like all of these fine details and all of that silver into here. But I think that they got plenty of it, you know, like you have like thin lines up here, and I really like the shaping just in this section. Like, I think that it looks a lot like a palm. And like I said, when we were looking at the Infinity Gauntlet, it looks much more like a palm than the Infinity Gauntlet's palm does. So I'm very happy about that. So overall, I think that this is a pretty accurate replica to the actual movie prop. It's just, again, it's just that top section. It's just where the stones are. It's all of that I think it just kind of falls apart. I went ahead and turned the lights on for the prop replica gauntlet so that you guys can, you know, see how cool that is. I wish the LEGO version's lit up, but I mean, I'm sure there are people that make light kits for these. So anyway, in conclusion, I think that both of the LEGO versions are very nice. But the Infinity Gauntlet is my favorite. So, I mean, I had not looked at the Infinity Gauntlet for like up close for like a while before I made my Nano Gauntlet review. So I'm sorry for saying that I liked the Nano Gauntlet better in that review. Because yeah, I think Thanos' Gauntlet is just better as a display piece, but in universe, I like the Nano one better. So yeah, kind of opposing opinions there, but let me know which one you guys like better. I think that both of them are fantastic sets, some of my favorite Marvel sets that LEGO has made in the last couple of years, and I really want LEGO to keep doing these replica style display pieces, because this is like the kind of stuff that I would just like love to buy from them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Check out my website, goldenninja3000.com, and I'll see you guys in more videos soon. Bye for now.